I chose to take the internship course because it was my junior year and everyone was talking about internships, but I didn't have one yet. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I contacted Professor Akor and she kind of walked me through it. And I knew I wanted to do marketing, but I had no experience in marketing, so that's what I wanted an internship for, so find that out.
I chose the internship course because I'm a senior. I've finished a lot of my core classes that I need to finish my major, and I had some space in my schedule and I was looking at my options. The internship course seemed to be the one that would benefit me the most in the long run. And at this point it definitely has lived up to my expectations. I'm learning a lot. I'm getting a lot of experience in what is, what you're looking for in an office and what you're looking for to not have in your future career. I'm learning the good and the bad, so far it's been a good choice.
Benefits from the class is kind of understanding how my organization works and some of the things that might be going on above me that I don't see that might be affecting the things I'm doing. I think that was a big part.
Well, I guess I've organized internships myself outside of school, and there's benefit to that as well. But the nice thing about taking it through the school is that you have a framework of support around you. So if, for an example, you have an internship and you're placed in that organization and you're finding that you're not being used to your full potential, or you're not being afforded the learning experiences that you should be given as an unpaid internship, the school will come in and help on your behalf and advocate for you. And it's great to also be able to have this sort of step back once a week with 8 or 9 other people who are in the same field as you doing internships, and just sort of look at your problems from a different perspective. Whereas if you were doing an internship all on your own, you sort of have to come to those conclusions yourself.
My internship is not paid, only because they're more of a summer run business. I don't think it really does because I work also at another job. So I really don't feel the need to get paid. If I was, I think I don't think it would make it better or worse, so I don't think it does.
My internship is unpaid. I don't think it makes a difference. I think that some people might not work as hard because they're not getting paid, but I think that the expectation of me submitting good work was still there, whether or not I was being paid. And me being put into the internship experience it didn't matter that I was getting paid. It was more that I was getting that experience because, I don't need as much money here. It's more about getting the experience of marketing and sales and stuff like that. That was way more valuable.
So for me personally, it's not a bad thing to take an unpaid internship, but I can definitely see why a lot of people would need to go through the paid internship. I will say that there's a lot more options if you go unpaid. A lot more options.
Any advice? I would say just talk to people. There's so many resources. If you get an email them back and find more information about what you're interested in. Literally just talking to people has gotten me into this class, got me my internship, and that's probably the best advice.
I would say there's not a whole lot of actual classwork that you have to do. The only assignment that you'll be given are these journals. And I just really encourage you to take them seriously because it's a great way for you to sort of log your own progressions through the work. And more than just a way to give you a grade in the class, I think it's a great sort of strategy for seeing how much you've improved in your time there. I'd also say, you really have to be on top of everything communication-wise as far as emailing people, keeping your contact list up to date, having an appropriate social media presence, being on LinkedIn, just basic things like that. Before you even enter the job world, you need to start doing those. So with the internship class, you learn how to do a lot of those things.
I would definitely take it if you can, because why not build your experience? And even if teacher doesn't have a specific one that interests you, like ask her and she can totally try to set something up. And yeah, just I think nothing but good things about taking it.
The internship course is something that really guides students. It's coursework that goes along with an internship. And what students do is they complete coursework in organizational communication. So they're learning organizational principles while they are at their internship site. So of course students do internships on their own too, which is fine because every experience you can get is great. But where the course helps is it guides you. So when the student is on an internship site as well as taking the course, they are sort of urged to think about more things than just the role that they're fulfilling in the internship site. Because when students typically do internships on their own, they think, oh, this of course it is a great experience, but they're mainly focusing on the work that they're doing. So the course actually enables them to think about the organization as a whole, do more thinking about it, reflecting, and also noticing things that they might not otherwise have noticed. So it's a more holistic learning experience than just doing an internship. Plus, then we also provide several professional development opportunities in the internship course. Like I bring in guest speakers, I have people video conference in, I have people come and talk about interviewing skills and that kind of thing. So it's kind of gives them a little bit more than they might if they just did the internship on their own. The internship course, the way it works is, even though it's a 4-credit course, so which normally meets 2 times a week, it lists as a Wednesday-Friday course, say for instance, but it only meets on one time, so it meets on a Wednesday typically. And the reason is because if we met twice, then it would be just like a regular course. It'd be too many hours because the student is also working about 10 to 15 hours on site. So we take that into account. So we meet once a week, and then during that hour and 45 minutes, I usually check in with all the students to see how things are going. This enables me to keep in touch all the time with how things are going at their site. If there's something that is not going well, then I can intervene and help them. It just gives me a feel for what's going on. And also if there is trouble at their site or if the student is struggling with something, it gives them just the opportunity not just to hear from me, but from all their peers. Because somebody else may have had that experience and they share, and I think it's a holistic experience. So I check in, then I introduce the concept of the week, we discuss that, put it up on the board, we talk about that. They usually read an article related to that. So for example, if we're discussing leadership or organizational culture that week. So we do the discussion, and then that week they'll apply it to their site. So meaning that if you're talking about organizational culture, they will observe organizational culture in their internship site. Sometimes the topic may involve talking to somebody, talking to their colleagues, talking to the supervisor, and asking questions. So again, that ties in to learning more about the organization and what all goes on in a workplace than just their own. Typically what happens is when a student is interested in an internship, usually we send out an email every semester saying, hey, here's the internship course, if you're interested, contact Dr. Akor and so forth. So what I typically like to do is meet with the student who's interested. They email me, we set up a time, we meet, and then I explain what the course is. Then I ask them what they're interested in, why they want to do an internship, and what kinds of things they might be interested in, because I want to make sure that I match them up with something that they want to do. It's not just about doing an internship, it's about doing an internship in your interest area, or maybe because you want to try that out because you think that might be an area you want to go into for a career. So we have this conversation. I share the internship sites I have on hand. So I partner with many area organizations, both nonprofit and some for-profit. And so I've already set up a relationship with these people, and I know beforehand if they're going to look if they need an intern for the next semester. So what I do is I meet up with them, with the student talks about their interests, and I share the sites that I have, explain each one of them, and then I ask the student to identify at least 3 that they think that might be a good match. And then I rank order them as 1, 2, 3, so that if the student gets, interviews and gets all 3 positions, which one are they more likely to take? So typically I expect, or I want students to interview at least in 3 places so that they get the interviewing experience and they're making a choice rather than just going in to one. I mean, it just feels better when you feel that you're making the decision. It helps students with the decision-making process, because hopefully in the future they'll have to do that when they get these multiple job offers and they have to pick one. So that is the process. And then once that happens, then I send the resume to these sites, and they set up an interview directly with the student. And then if they like them, they make an offer. If the student likes that place, they accept it. And then we do paperwork. There's some paperwork the college requires. So we do complete all that, and then the student is all set to register and take the course. The internship course is really beneficial because, again, like I mentioned before, it really gives a structure. It also enables me to act as a resource both to the internship site, as well as for the students. So sometimes the internship site may not be very happy with something, and so they're able to reach out to me and say, or I reach out to them typically, I keep checking in with them, and they might say, well, the student is doing good work, but maybe attendance is an issue or whatever. Then that enables me to have a conversation with the student. So if the student is doing an internship on their own, they may not have that, both the student and the internship site doesn't. I mean, then they have to deal with it, which is not a bad experience either. But the course enables especially students who are more shy. There are also students who don't know how to go about looking for an internship. Some students are very smart. They find their own internship, which is great. That's what ideally we would want all students to do. But not every student is there. So this helps them sort of get the internship, and then they might grow from it, and maybe it makes it easier the next time around for them to get an internship. And so a little bit of, it gives a little bit of hand-holding and support system, I would say.